Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise today to honor Sergeant First Class Richard Stayskal and to tell Rich how much I admire his bravery and his service to our country. Rich has been in D.C. since yesterday, talking to members of the Senate about the critical need to address the injustice of the Feres Doctrine. Today, he's joined us in the gallery. This will likely be his last trip to Washington, D.C. That's because this father, this husband, this Marine, and Army Green Beret has end-stage lung cancer, a cancer that Army medical staff failed to alert him to despite finding the tumor on scans. The cancer grew at a deadly pace, untreated and undiagnosed, until he went to a private practice doctor in 2017. By then, it was stage 4, and his prognosis was terminal. Despite this devastating development, Rich continued his service overseas and at home in good times and bad until not long ago, and just shy of his 20-year milestone for full retirement. He also fought this tragedy as a true soldier and tackled the very thing that has left him and his family most vulnerable, the Feres Doctrine. The Feres Doctrine is an outdated judicial ruling that bars active duty service members from suing the government for medical malpractice. These are not in combat situations. These are cases that happen here at home at medical facilities on Army bases and other services. There's never been a bill. There's never been a hearing, a vote in Congress. But that is the Feres Doctrine, and that has been what has been the law of the land for 70 years. Service members' spouses and families, civilian federal employees, and even convicted prisoners have the right to sue for negligence, but not our service members. Only Rich and our brave military service members are denied this right by the Feres Doctrine. That means that Rich, his family, and other service members and their families have been denied justice in their greatest hour of need. It also means there are no consequences for botched procedures and few incentives for the military's medical providers to improve care. In this fight to achieve justice for his family and spare others what they have endured, Rich has met with Democrats and Republicans in the House and Senate. He testified before the Armed Services Military Personnel Subcommittee, which I chair. The media has taken notice. The House has taken notice. The NDAA has addressed it in the House. The question is, will the Senate? At a time when Rich should be able to spend his remaining days with those he loves, he has answered the call to fight. Rich, as I promised you when you testified before the committee, we will never forget your commitment, your honor, and sacrifice, and I will keep fighting to fix Feres as long as it takes. Congress is responsible for allowing Feres to stand for 70 years, but we can correct this failure, and we can do it now. The House-passed NDAA contains the Sergeant First Class Richard Stayskal Act of 2019. It would create an exemption that would finally give service members and their families the right to sue the government for medical malpractice in non-combat settings. The ball is now in the Senate's court, where it seems Senator McConnell would rather help corporations than our brave service members. I hope he will make an exception for doing the right thing and for Rich. Because Rich deserves us to know that after all his years of coming through for this country, when it really counted, this country will come through for him. Rich deserves to know that his efforts, his life, his sacrifice matter because he made life better for those who will come after him. And Rich deserves to know that when his time comes, his wife Megan and their 2 young daughters will not be left alone. They, like so many military families, have sacrificed so much so that we may sleep at night. They have forfeited unknown years of happiness with a father and husband that they would move heaven and earth to keep with them. In honor of Rich and his family and all those who serve, I implore the Senate to join the House and pass the Sergeant First Class Richard Stayskal Act.